Hey yo, what's up? It's your boy TDG in the building. Welcome back everybody to Rurouni Kenshin Kansen, and today, as I promised you, we are going to take a nice in-depth look at this game combo system. Get a little basics out the way, just get you to a point to where we can build the missteps, and then you can go make your own combo videos or whatever. Okay, I didn't mean to do that. We're just gonna let that go. So let it sit. That never happened. You didn't see it. So, just to get it ever happen, and I'll explain what that is later. Now, if we're going to get you on the road to making kick-ass combo videos for this game, how about we start with the basics? That's back. That's a back step. That's forward. That is a forward step. You can do a double jump in this game. You can crouch. And that's your best friend, the homie dash, and we'll get into how broken that is later on. You also have 3 levels of attack: light, medium, and heavy. Be aware, that is the last time you'll ever see me do that. Because of this, the wonderful use, the special ability button. At least that's what I think it's called, and that's what I call it. This makes sense to me. The special ability button, depending on the character in question, does certain things. And in the case when I pressed the special ability button with Sano, he threw his Zombator away, and now it gives him a whole different set of moves. Low, medium, heavy, just like that. Crouching the same. Just so we understand each other. Also, for characters that use hand-to-hand combat, forward and heavy is a problem, just so you know that information. So let's see. Basic attacks, basic movement, you can jump and move now. Okay, cool. Now, the 2 other buttons you have at your disposal is, by default, the L button is your Ogi button, and the R button is the magical button that I've dubbed concentration, and we'll get into that in a second. Knowing all of this stuff as usual, blah blah blah, is as useful as basis to build up later for high level play, blah 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 blah. Okay, now that I've gotten all that out the way, let's just get to the fun shit, alright? Now, remember our friend, the Homer Dash? It's very powerful. It's very reminiscent to me of the rolling dash from the Naruto Ultimate Ninja series. It works very similar. Because I really don't use it a lot against the computer because I'm just playing around with concentration, is that I'm not really sure if it's invincible or not. I would have to assume that because it is a dash like that and there's no super armor on it or anything like that as far as I know, that it has to be invincible at some point and vulnerable at some point, but what that point is I'm not sure because I haven't been able to test this out against another human being. Oh wow, that's cool. You can, I just forgot you can do that. I forgot you can Homer Dash. You can Homer Dash from a double jump. Forgot that. So that's important for moves that we get into later on with certain characters. I think Sano has one, but there are characters who have jump cancel bananas, so that you can do just like you can do like a 2-tier jump combo like you could like in the Versus series and things like that. So make sure to keep that in mind too. Now, let's get to the meat of this party. The concentration button. You can do that. And I'll do it again because it's fun and awesome. The concentration button. Awesome in every way, shape, or form. It's like a lot of what concentration brings to the table reminds me of other games that I love. Like, the activation of concentration reminds me of the first impact move from Dungeons and Dragons. At least in the case where the screen changes a different color and your character is in some kind of juggle state for the most part. Also it reminds me of the name that I've dubbed it from, is that it's a very hyper version of concentration 1 from Samurai Shodown 5. And on top of that, it also reminds me of Last Blade speed mode activation or variable levels from Street Fighter Alpha 2 or 3 or anything that you can substitute Excel to EX, whatever. It's like a lot of those things like on offense that you take little pieces from here and there and you put them all together and you get the concentration. Now, I really think real quick, I'll just reiterate just to sound all breaking my day like and rocking history and whatnot, is that the final impact, the first impact part of concentration from Raise of the Dragons happens, like I said, that you know that when you activate it and the screen change color to know that you've done it and whatnot. Yeah. The concentration 1 part is that the only thing that it does bar from concentration 1 for Samurai Showdown 5 is that the strings, that time slows down. Is that in concentration 1 of Samurai Showdown works as follows. You take all of your super meter, dump it into one attack, and if it hit, it does massive damage, and if you miss, you are open and prone to a whole bunch of damage, which will probably kill you. And when the last part of the activation of reminds me of the speed mode activation from Last Blade, is because A, I want to say Last Blade in a sentence, B, this is a game with people with swords, and C, the only part of the of a speed mode activation that actually matters in this example is that you can go very rapidly from one strength to another, except in this game, if you miss, you have to wait for the animation to finish, but I'll demonstrate that for you later. The only defensive aspect of activation is using it as a counter to someone else's activation of it. And that kind of plays a little bit to me, kind of like, kind of like when I think about it, kind of like when two characters with time start fighting JoJo. Except that time doesn't freeze that way. Is that the way it works is that as long as, like how you saw earlier, that if you activate concentration from a distance, that it doesn't really do anything unless you get your opponent in, when you get close to your opponent in that little bubble, that's when it activates. In the case of this, is that if your opponent activates concentration, when you do, you both move at the same speed, but the first person to land an attack is given the right to finish their combo. So is that if you like on your last leg and you got a concentration use and they trying to use it to kill you, your best bet would be, of course, to activate concentration to see if you can hit a combo to switch the tide. So it is kind of like the supposed use of the factor was supposed to be a marvel, I guess. We really try to bring it all around and think about it and explain it in that way. But I really think, that we should try to just sum all of that up for you guys. Concentration is very powerful. Concentration should be abused. It should be abused in moderation. Understand this, as we'll get into later, concentration is not a win button. It's not. It can never be that. Is that it's a way to either stack up damage or try to change the tide, and it cannot be one or the other at the same time. So, you just have to understand that every character is different. How they go about concentration is the same, but how they get from point A to point B is different, I guess. Yeah. Okay, you know enough of me bibbling Bible. Let's get into how attacks actually work. They work in two ways. Is that you're given a basic attack of 3 lights, which usually, for the most part, end in a knockdown. There are a couple that do end in Jekyll states that do that, but those are very few and far in between, and even to really take advantage of them, you would have to activate a concentration to continue the combo anyway. And also, light, medium, heavy chain. Light, medium, heavy chain. You can also do 2 light, a medium, and a heavy. Is what I always suggest, because every character can do it. And as you'll see, 167 damage. Oh, sorry, I missed that. To 183. Yeah, it's 16 points more damage, but that's 16 points closer to your opponent dying. So using that extra light is the difference between life and death. Think about it that way. Now, when it comes to things in the air, is that depending on the character and the normal you speak of, like with Sano, like that, you can do like basic jump combos, and it's like the whole point of the homing dash and trying to do attacks in the air is you're not really going anywhere. You're not really getting off the ground that much. It's like the homing dash, when you try to use it as an attack, reminds me very strangely of the backstep in KOF. Like, at least in older ones where if you backstep, the game recognizes that in some frames you are in the air, so that you can be moved very close to the ground and such. So, just remember, 3 lights, or a light, medium, heavy chain. Either one, it doesn't matter, and it does not flow into the air though, because you only can do one normal, so it's still the light, medium, heavy chain. And you also have, what am I trying to say? You also have special normal, like in Sonic case, in where his full heavy is that kick, which the whole world has become very familiar with at this juncture. Now, let's get into concentration, because that's what you're all here for anyway. Concentration works like this. Any normal attack that you start in concentration automatically puts your opponent in a rising juggle state, which rising, I mean that your character is literally knocked off the ground and starts to float up into the air as if you were doing a launcher without doing a launcher. Also, in concentration, is that, like I said earlier, to take full advantage of it, hit confirm. And you can do a concentration at any point in the animation. So let me show you. In the example of that combo that I showed you, when and where you cancel that move is important, because like I said, is that as you noticed about that combo that you saw when I did that first and that second dash behind Kenshin with Sano, is that Sano completely missed. And that's one of those things you have to really learn about your characters, is that I understand that I was just showing you that if you rush it and try to hit the medium too early in this case, is that it will completely miss. However, if you mash the concentration button enough, you can try to get up that animation and try to continue a combo. And also, to maybe explain that, because if I don't think I did already, is that if you miss something, instead of being able to, like, it isn't like if you miss something and then you can cancel it. No. If you miss something, you have to wait to that animation to get to the invisible cancel point before you can dash out of it. And from far as I know, even a normal or a cancelable normal that does not cancel into anything else has a cancel point, because the game has to consider that at any point you could use that move within a concentration situation. I rhymed and I hiccuped. But yeah, it's like this game is a lot more deep than, you know, a Rurouni Kenshin game you would think it really should be. But there's really a lot to really get to know about this game. And like I said, that combo I showed you guys last week is just one of the myriad of possibilities that you have at your disposal with knowing how concentration works and how basic offense works for those building steps, so you can do 90, 100 hit combos. Now, the one other thing I do want to explain before we wrap this up today is multiple uses of concentration in you. Now, I'm going to activate concentration, and as you see, you know, is that when it comes to multiple concentration, you know, and I'm just saying around, is that here it is by the mathematical numbers. When you get to a certain threshold, and I think for my concentration, that hit threshold is between 6 and 10, is that moves start to do only 33% of their normal possible capability of doing total damage. And God, that was convoluted as all fuck. But that's using multiple concentrations in a combo that's not going to finish your opponent, not a good idea. And it's not a good idea just for the simple fact that you're only doing a third normal damage. Is that there's another little thing about this game that's called, which I like to call heat resurrection. In certain characters that, you know, there are a list of certain characters that if they're killed, while they have a full super meter and they find a round, they come back and it's like their super meter becomes a ticking time bomb, is that it ticks all the way down to 0, and it's like even when they get to 0, they're still alive until you hit them with a strike, which would kill them. So knowing that information in a high level situation, only use more than one concentration if you know it's going to end the fight, not end the round. Because concentrations don't stack, you don't get 3 of them back, you don't get another one for winning or losing a round. This ain't KOF 2000 here. Is that you only get 3. You only get 3. And these things, you can do 500-600 damage off one. So why would you want to pour 3 of them into one combo and maybe do a possibility of 9, maybe 7, 8, possibly 900 damage depending on the character you're talking about? Or do damn near maybe 19, 2000 using 3 of them in a span of a round. In a span of not a round, but a whole fight. So you have to think about it that way. If you build your concentration level, you know that you can use 3 to finish your opponent, and you know he resurrection ain't gonna bite you in the ass, that's one thing. If you cannot guarantee a kill or using more than one resurrection, more than one concentration in a situation, it's just a no-no. Don't do it. Don't practice it. Just don't. Understand that, knowing that one concentration can lead to a combo that can do about 600 to 700 damage with most characters. And then you don't want to ruin that by plucking another 200 damage and then plucking another maybe 50 to 100 off a third one, and then then you stuck without concentration for the rest of the battle. Not only is it not good strategy, it's not good business. Hell, it's not good mathematics. It's just not. So just make sure that you understand that concentration, it's not a win button. It's not. It's just a way to extend combos and do extra damage, but you do not want to become so heavily reliant on doing that damage that you put yourself into a hole later on that you can't dig yourself out of without it. And I think that about wraps this up for today. So the TLDR of these past 17 minutes is as follows. You press buttons, they do shit. Congratulations. Concentration is not a win button. Learning to use concentration, using the building blocks which I've shown you today to do your own stuff on your own is the most important thing. And I think that's about it. So I hope you guys enjoyed the tutorial. I hope you guys learned something new from this today. And, I really hope I helped you guys out. Now, before I get out here, I will say this. For the 1 or 2 people that hit me up in the comments and hit me up like, man, why are you the only video look? I don't know how to unlock all the characters. No one does. So once I learn characters unlocked and all of that, maybe I'll play a story mode run through or something for everybody. But until I figure out all that stuff out, there's really no point to make a DOAJ preview edition or play the game or do anything when I don't know what the fuck going on. So that's that. Run that race will be back sometime this week. We're gonna close out Mario and we're gonna get into something else. Y'all know how to get at me. Diaries of Blog Horse, Facebook, Twitter, all that good shit. Y'all know how to get at me. Make sure you keep an eye on the main page. We got all your latest and your trailers and all that other stuff you love so much. DOAGX the Dojo got all your fighting games taken care of. All the match videos you can choke a donkey with. So that will end this for me today. Again, I'd like to thank you guys for staying tuned for me for about 20 minutes now, because we're about the 19-minute mark now. So I'm gonna go ahead. I'm going to get out of here. If you guys have any more questions about the combo system, anything that I may have missed that you may have questions about that I didn't cover, feel free to let me know. And I'll try to make a small little video and trying to explain that little intricacy to you. So you know what it is, your boy TDG, man. DOAGH, man. Rich Jimmy Weezy in the motherfucking building! Or something like that. But you know what it is, your boy Triple the Guy that K. Soprano Game is #1 dope, man. And I'll holler at y'all later, man. Peace.